All right, I think I'm live. Got to get comfortable in my chair. Oh, man. Yeah. I think I was supposed to go live a minute ago. Technical getting back to my desk difficulties. Good to see all of you here. And this is not going to be too long. I actually have to go to, I should probably bring the microphone closer to me. It probably sounds better. I probably have to go over to, I have to leave to go to an event today, IT and the D. So I'll be talking about that event maybe next week. There's so many things I need to talk about. I've been so busy lately. I have not done as many videos as I want. So, all right. See, some troll gives it a thumbs down before we start. Yes, someone always takes the time to do that. Let's see. Unplugged cable. That happens sometimes. Yep. Everyone, turn off your webcams. Absolutely. Hello from Poland. All right. I have some Polish ancestry. The mostly, I think my great grandfather was Czechoslovakian, so not quite Polish, but we're going to. Oh, I was going to break things. All right. Well, I need to download things, so let's go ahead and do some discourse admin. I got all kinds of things I'm doing on the side here. I've been so busy running around doing this, doing that. I have someone created a ticket. Let's see. Question. This is a little bit longer. I don't know if I have time to read this. I certainly can't drag it on the screen because it's part of our ticketing system. So someone messaged us asking a question for Vlog Thursday. Okay. Someone asked what the best setup is for MSPs. They're asking, like, when you set up a small business, is there best practices? And yeah, it's hard because there's not just, this question is basically says, what are the fundamental features of a small business? Backups, images, online file storage, and file syncing service, version history, strong password, firewall, and what is the best general setup? That is an opinion that you will get argued forever. What's the best setup? And that's because it comes down to no two people have the same opinion. I am using like the Enable software. And someone yesterday was commenting on me and Jay's video that we should use some competing software. That's where these opinions come in. Honestly, so many of these softwares, feature for feature, are so close to the same. It does make doing a determination not easy. And it comes down to which one you're more familiar with, because if I said a software is good, but you're familiar more so with another one, and you end up misconfiguring, mishandling, or not optimizing that other software that you didn't know as well because you didn't have time to learn it, that can be a huge problem. There's sometimes stay with a little bit of what you know, because there's sometimes when you break it down, like if you're comparing ConnectWise to Enable versus some of the other platforms out there that are really good platforms. And, people ask me all the time, like, what do you think of this one or that one? Or what about Ninja RMM or something? And I'm like, they all make a good product. I know people that are successful with each of these products. So it comes down to what you decide after you start evaluating them, and everyone hates them after they start using them and thinks the grass is greener on the other side. So there's not an easy thing out there. And I don't know if Ray's directly replying to this, but Ray Orsini, he's been on the channel before. He will be here again. Also check out the Tech Bar. They're doing another one live show tonight. So do check that out with Ray and them. But Ray will tell you, because Ray's worked in the MSP space. There's no easy answer on that, what the best tech stack is. Look at what we use on our YouTube channel. Obviously, that's what I think is the best. We really like Untangle. We really like pfSense. Those are two firewalls that we use all the time. We really like the Enable stack for doing RMM. Everything else, we like Bitwarden for password management. So to me, that is great. Now, when it comes to fully integrated, that becomes a little bit different, because obviously Bitwarden is not the same as Passportal and the password manager offered by Enable. That's where there's some differences. So fully integrated becomes a wild card, because fully integrated means you have to use everything that totally integrates, and that may not always be the best thing you like. I like Bitwarden because it's open source, but yeah, the other side of it is the I don't know. There's not an easy answer for any of it. How's that? That's the best way I can describe it. But yes, there's a patch for Discord, and so we are going to patch Discord. We got to get the backups done. So that's at least a little process before you do the patching. Let's go ahead and run a backup. So we're going to go to settings, and I probably should share the screen here. You can see my here. All right, now I can do it. Let me stop sharing this, remove. And then we want to share. You know, I think I just share this one screen. So we'll just share entire screen. There we go. Now you can see how I love this look. You can see how I see StreamYard. Rocket Chat patch 2. Yes, Bitwarden does support enterprise authentication, but whenever you do this, first I back up this and then we apply the updates. Now, once the backup's done, we got to download the backup, so which gets emailed to me. So it's going to take a minute to do right here. Also, while we're doing this, I need to bring up draw.io. I'm working on a few other things. I got a bug in my head that I had to fix a bunch of things and rebuild a bunch of things. And one of those things I do is you start documenting where all your data is. And then you create data sets, you know, in TrueNAS, where's the data? Then you start replicating it across. Now, this is only local replication. Anything important also gets offsite replication as well. And so I am going to work on a video on doing this. This is draw.io. I've been using it for a long time. It also supports flow animations now, which is really cool. But this is the way you can see the way things go back and forth. And then there's reasons why most things start here, except for this thing runs this way to this way. It's lots of little details that I'm going to be working on for how we have all of our data, where all the data gets backed up and everything else. But this took a little bit of time to get to because I had some legacy encryption. So I had to tear down, which means I don't like not having duplicates of triplicate if you count the offsite, but at minimum, I want duplicates of all of my data on separate ends of the building here, and different servers that are somewhat isolated from each other because they're not even on the same UPS system. So I had all that. So that took a little while to rebuild, to keep another system that I duplicated all the data to, delete the one server, rebuild it with all new encryption, and now resync all of it back up. It's not that much data, but so it didn't take too much time, but it's time consuming getting it all done. Cool. Backups are done. Now we go to hit download, and the download actually emails me a link. So now I downloaded it. Once I download it, then we're going to go ahead and run the update for this right here. So go ahead and remove that, and we'll put back in some other screen. So we'll say share screen, Chrome tab. Where's it at? We'll put the chat back up. Woohoo! So, what else? What did I miss in the questions here while I'm waiting for that email? Yes, Bitwarden does have enterprise authentication. Haven't seen the flow animation. The flow animations are really cool when you want to present things. I really love that feature. So I will show though real quick how the flow animations work. It is a little bit of confusion to where to find them because they are not where you might expect them to be. Let me click the download link first. So where did my download link go? I can't pull. You guys can't see into my email. Sorry about that. All right, it's downloading. Now that's downloading, so we can go ahead and share the other screen. Share screen. We'll just do an entire screen again. Now the flow animations, just so you know, you click on one of these. It's not in here. I wish they made it a checkbox because that'd make my life easier. Also, I mean, actually, this is made too big for the other screen. So we squeeze this down. There we go. Whoops. The flow animation is a checkbox down here under the properties of each one of these. Now, here's the downside. This is something I don't like. I love the fact that, so let's say I duplicate a box here. So if I did this box and I want to drag from this box to this box, okay, that's not the right kind of line because I just opened it. But if we say like copy style or set as default style, now all I do is draw a line here. It's great. But setting it as a default style doesn't copy the flow animation. You still have to go back in there and actually check the flow animation box. It's a minor problem, but it's still kind of a dumb one. I don't know why copying the style doesn't do it. So maybe I'll file a bug report because it seems like if I hit copy style, the flow animation should be in there as well. But there's actually a couple other little things you can do inside of here. One of them is turn them into like a more comic look. So instead of them being just kind of straight, it doesn't look as much on here, but when you start getting closer, you'll realize it. They have like more of a comic flow to them. So there's a couple other extra things you can do in here if you wanted. But I like them like this. They become nice when you start talking about things, especially in TrueNAS, and it adds a little bit of presentation to the video of, all right, here's how all the data goes. Here's how all the stuff does. And then I might add like all the retention policies because you set all these up with different retention policies. How long do you want to keep these snapshots of this? How long do you want to keep all the replication data, et cetera, et cetera. So that's that. Woo. All right. Is the download finished for my backup? It is, which means I can go back to stop, share, Chrome tab. Time to revise my diagrams. Yep. Yeah, my hand drawings all look like comics. You're right. You're right on that. Lots to do. So one of the things I need to do is let's exit. Too many things open. Too many things. There we go. Drag this. I can drag this over. I want to update my forums. Apt-get update. We'll is still recommend run TrueNAS? No, it is not recommended to run TrueNAS via USB. I do not recommend running TrueNAS via USB. Yes. So this is, we can go back to sharing the screen. There needs to be an easier way to do this. Share screen. Yeah, we can just choose a window. There we go. Now you're seeing what I'm seeing. We're just updating all the packages on the back end. I have unattended upgrades running, but which means I just have it applying all security updates. It'll apply these updates. I always like to make sure all the latest updates are done. Then I reboot it. Then I make sure my forums come back up. But yeah, this is some of the update process on the back end because it doesn't do. There's a few updates that it didn't do, like some of the new kernel stuff. So I went ahead and updated it. It's going to set up the new kernel IO, or I'm using container.io. Yeah, but do not run it via USB. Now, you see, it used to be popular to run it that way because it worked well enough. But over time, but oddly, I just took a USB out that's been plugged in since 2015, continuously running on one of my servers. I just never replaced it. So, yeah, I need to do this right here. If you, it's funny because I know how to do this, but I don't have it set up on this computer. I have it set up on my studio computer. But Ray's right. I should do this. You can also install like the virtual webcam. So the virtual webcam or the virtual output from OBS will then feed to all the other things. You know, it's kind of the fun challenge. Like me and Ray are not media production people. We're people who want to produce media. So we have to spend a lot of time learning how to get all these tools to work in a coherent way so we can produce content for to talk about what we actually do for a living. But it's fun. It's definitely great fun learning all of this stuff. And Ray's still working on some of the resources and videos on it. I asked Ray to join. He didn't have time. He's in the process of redoing a few things. He'll come on again. Me and Ray we have plans for some more videos coming up. Done. All right. If any of you are on my forums, I'm rebooting them. So there you go. Yep. More media nerds than more production people. And it's lots of fun. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It took me to it's a whole nother thing. You have to spend time learning all your media production tools just so I can get it out there. At the same time, understanding all the things I do want to talk about, firewalls, storage servers, and everything else. So there's this back and forth of all the things that we need to put together to make this work. So yeah, it's a lot, but it's fun. It's just one of those things. Yeah, Ray says he's got some type of business meeting to go to. That doesn't sound fun at all, but eventually somebody's got to pay the bills, I guess. Let's see. Did my forums reboot? Cross our fingers. Hey, look at this. Up for 0 minutes. All right. So I make sure everything starts up, and then we'll pop up forums.lawrencesystems.com. Make sure it's working. It is. Now we can run the other updates from there. So click to upgrade. I can share that too if you guys want to see what the upgrade looks like. It can be done from the command line. I usually do it from the web interface. Chrome tab, what is it? Yeah, this is what the screen looks like where we update things. So we're just going to go for first, we got to upgrade the Docker manager part. It's just going to update Docker manager while it does this. We got to wait for the unicorn to reload. Waiting for more unicorns. We have a cycling unicorn. Look at this. Cycling unicorns. Woohoo, exciting. Come on, unicorns. Let's see. Cool, the forums is up. This is StreamYard, and we started using StreamYard for a few things. Like the podcast interviews. And then I said, it really works well for live stuff. I've seen a handful of people using it. Ray actually uses it with OIT VoIP, uses it for their system. I really like StreamYard. It's been a pretty solid, easy to use system. It has separate audio recordings when you do interviews in case you need to have separate inputs for each one of the people on there. It's easy for comments. It's one of the best ones I've seen to make comments easy to throw up on the screen like that, which is really, very cool to me, the fact that I can do that. Yeah, I had some interest in video work using tape backup back in the day before I got an IT, then started doing some videos to get back into it. But then this time nonlinear on a PC much easier. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's still updating. So the forums may be down now because it's updating. I don't know if it stays up while this is. At some point, it will go down because it's got to flip over to this upgrade. I should put a faster server in for my forums, then the upgrades to go faster, right? But planning on storage and everything else is definitely one of the topics I'll talk about. The other challenges of dealing with some of the other TrueNAS. You know what? I don't have. Let me pull this up because this might be interesting too. This should be the right link. I may have to run some of the benchmarks again. Crap. I'm missing the other benchmark. Where did it go? That's not good. Well, then. I'm missing the other benchmarks I was going to share. Whoops. Well, we'll sort that out another time, I guess. Have you looked at OVH for your forums? Why OVH for what? What's OVH? I don't know what OVH is. I use Discourse for my forums. So, and you can see it's just kind of rocking out over here. I was going to do this. Let me drag it and share a different tab. Yeah, I thought I had both benchmarks in here, but I'm going to do some videos because there's a lot of questions that come up with how you lay out 60 drives. So I'm going to do a video of laying out 60 drives and the pros and cons. I have a series of benchmarks. I'm missing some of them, though. I don't know where they went. I don't know where I saved them, I should say. But there's going to be some videos that break down the pros and cons of laying out VDEVs in different ways. I'll do some more graphics with Draw.io to explain that. But it's going to be just one of those. You don't put them in one big pool, but you don't want to break them down to too many small pools. Then there's always some person recommending to put them all in a bunch of pairs, but that comes way at the sacrifice of all the storage. So there are ways to make it faster, but then you sacrifice all of the storage you have. Therefore, it's not ideal unless your only goal was speed, not storage. So there's a lot of different ways to think about it. And then I'll break down what all the different IOPS are in each one. So one more update. Click here to upgrade. There we go. All right, one more upgrade in that. So that's kicked off. All right, I'll stop sharing screen. Share. If you want to see where it's at now, we go back over to the start upgrading. This is the second part of the upgrade. You got to kind of do things twice on there. So is it possible to configure Discourse to use Discord? I like all the logins because it's easier to control. I don't know what OAuth is supported. So let's Google that together. So while that's doing this, I don't know. Let's see. Authorized token. I have to look. I don't have to dig. I don't like using other third-party integrations for access token. So let's see. Just keeps Discourse. Trying to see if they have a list of external authentication. I'm not sure which ones they support. There's different plugins you can get for it, essentially. But it comes down to, what you want to do on there. It's like, I prefer to have each person create their own. Granted, yes, that's one of the problems, of course, is then you have one more to manage, but that's what password managers are for. The downside is, especially if you do something like a third-party authorization, the downside instantly becomes if that third party has a problem, then everything it's connected to has a problem. Like you can't log into those other things. I don't really like that. I like my system to be very independent, and I don't know how much harder it would be to what do you call it? Like to manage the GDPR, because sometimes people are weird and want all their stuff deleted. And I've had a few people request that. Hey, look, someone even said that probably before I said it. Downside is GDPR responsible. That's one of the things. Like to comply with GDPR, there's a purge option, and people have said, I want to purge my stuff. So I let them. Like if you want to delete yourself off my forums, that's easy. I don't know how much harder that is if you're using like a single sign-on type system to tie into Discord. Not really sure. I probably not is easy. Right now it's easy because the email address that you use to register is the email address you log in with, and also the email address you can use to purge yourself out of the existence of my system. I don't block you from doing that. If you would like to delete yourself, just go delete yourself. I don't have any restrictions on that. I'm not here to stop you. So, all right, let's switch back over to the chat. So let's say share screen. We'll throw the chat back in there. There we go. Oh, let's see. PHP BB was good for a long time. Yeah, that's PHP BB was a great system. It was forever. And before that, for news sites, everything used to run PHP Nuke, which was really cool too. Currently, let's see. Currently building a TrueNAS server and looking to connect multiple computers. Any idea if an Intel X710 DA4 works with TrueNAS? I don't know. What is an Intel? I don't know that particular model. So that's called what? You said? What is an Intel XDA4? I have no idea if that works in there. There's a whole section called Will It FreeNAS, and that's where you get to ask all those. Well, it's probably called it FreeNAS. I recommend a lot of these things. Where's it at? There we go. I'm going to switch to their forums, but if you where's the forums? TrueNAS community. There we go. I really recommend looking at their forums. You can post in there, and almost any card you've asked about, if it's at least a couple years old, has been asked about in the forum. So the best way to figure out what card works with TrueNAS is going to be to go into the forums, type in the model number of your card. You either have people saying, yes, it works, or you'll go have a bunch of people going, hey, I can't get this to work with this model card. That's like the best way to do that. So yeah, Intel is generally very compatible with everything. The ones in the 45 drive server, and this is one I'll be doing a video on soon, is these are what's in the 45 drive server. The LSI HBA adapters for the hard drive adapters. So I'll be talking. I need to do a video where I just kind of break down what is an HBA adapter. I think there's a lot of confusion around these, but that's it's going to be easy with the 45 drive server because it's easy to kind of show and talk about these things. Network card compatibility, most of the Intel stuff is, pretty good. What's my opinion on Ceph storage? A lot of people ask about that. Use it if you need it. Do you need it? Is what you're doing needed among Ceph? Ceph and Gluster both have the ability to, but the performance may not be what you think it is. The ability to be the front end presentation of a share, and the back end can be a series of other servers. So it becomes your single point where you connect it to your Ceph system, but then Ceph is then balancing across all these other systems to provide you data. But that may come at the cost of performance, and you still have to build network levels of redundancy between all the devices on the back end. So it becomes a more complicated setup for your SAN. It's not that I think it's bad. It's, do you need it? There's situations for sure that people need it for doing large scale storage that needs to be on multiple machines. There's especially needs for your large cloud companies. And, you take someone who's got to store absolutely insane amounts of data across multiple data centers. Yes, there are times definitely you should be using it. Is it outside of a learning experience, how bad do you need it in a home lab? Is if you're planning to learn it because you plan to go into that, cool, probably. Is it necessary? Probably not. It's not. I don't think there's anything bad about Ceph. It's just a matter of taking the times of it. And 45 Drives has a whole lot of videos about Ceph. It's a more complicated system. You're adding actually a lot of complexity to your system. But if the goal is to be learning things, absolutely, you're learning stuff. Is the goal to learn something else and just get the basics down? And because you want to focus on some other aspect of cybersecurity, you just need to get your lab up and running. Maybe don't add too many complicated things in there. So that's really my opinion on it. Do you need it? So return to site. Hey, we are up and running back with it up to the latest version. So awesome. So good to go. We updated it. The forums is back. Is there I have no idea. Not sure how to answer this. Is there such a thing as a general Mac based IT system? What are the basic components of solid, secure, easy to use Mac based for small business? I have no idea. I don't use Mac. I'm not a Mac person. Matter of fact, I only have, and I only own really, and I happen to be the thumbnail today. I only own one Apple device and it can only process a single core. So, I mean, this is the only Apple device I have. So I can't answer a lot of those questions about Apple things. So it's just really not easy for me to do. I mean, I can review my one single core Apple device. It only can process one core at a time. It does a great job. I mean, I really like it, but here we'll do this. Let's go here. And I mean, look at this. It does a great job for doing single core, but I don't know. I don't know how that really helps with your question though. I don't really do anything with Apple devices, so I'm like the worst person to ask. I never touch them. I don't use them. We do as a company, not just as me, as a company, we don't do it. We don't have any clients that do. If someone came in with a office full of those type of systems, we wouldn't really be able to help them. We got a whole bunch of Apples. I'm like, oh, well, we're probably not the right fit. That's my answer to a lot of these people. And it's funny because we get people sometimes that are almost upset. Well, I've called everywhere and I can't find anyone who does a good job with them. And I'm like, they're niche. They're not the mainstay. Mac is Mac is huge in the personal space. When it comes to the business space, they're really a tiny, tiny percentage of the market. I mean, they have a more market share than Linux, but they're not the same market share. There are companies that specialize in it. I don't know of any of them personally, so I don't have any personal recommendations. There are companies that exist that do support for them. There are companies that specializes in doing Mac support, but that's not us. So I don't have any good answers on that. I use OBS and I use StreamYard. This is specifically StreamYard. Yeah, Granny Smith was the first in my family to get an Apple. Granny Smith is good. I would say so is raspberries. I'm really a big fan of the Honeycrisp apples. So I answered this question earlier, and maybe it was you who asked it. That's just a big argument about who has the best stack. Everyone does. I think Enable is the best stack. And someone else will tell that ConnectWise is. Someone else will say they like their Datto setup. Someone else will say they like their setup with Ninja RMM. And they're all valid answers. So there's no good. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I think that using UniFi is great. I think that using the pfSense or Untangle firewalls is great. That's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on it. So there's not a definitive answer on this. I said that earlier in a video too. So People use personal devices at home, but that's why more and more things are going to the cloud. Matter of fact, they aren't just going to the cloud. This is actually where the market is shifting. You see any young company, you won't find them using on-prem applications. On-prem applications is a legacy thing. On-prem is used very limited. Your line of business applications and most things, even if they're not in the cloud and maybe the company hosts it internally, they're all becoming web-based. The reason they're becoming web-based is because Windows is hot garbage and creates a lot of problems. You create a web-based one, suddenly it doesn't matter what operating system I'm using. You just have to have a browser. QuickBooks had an announcement that they're discontinuing the QuickBooks. I wonder if I still have that link. It was a big debate a few people were having. I don't have a link anymore. I could probably Google it. So I don't know all the details on this just yet, outside of what is on this page and I'm about to share. So let's go ahead and QuickBooks Desktop is being discontinued. Why are we discontinuing QuickBooks Desktops? Helping you stay compliant is our top priority. Given the recent changes to accounting and tax regulations, along with the more on the horizon, we need to ensure your product is supported with regular updates. That's why QuickBooks Desktop customers can miss updates and use software is out of date and non-compliant. That's why I decided to discontinue the product. Now, this is in the UK, but my understanding is it's coming to the US as well. So this is specifically for QuickBooks UK, but it's a matter of time. So all the way till January 2023, it'll probably take longer to phase out here, but this is the way companies are going. They don't want to keep supporting a Mac version or a different version. They want to support a web version because when they have to do an update to the web version, they update the web version. They have one single based update. So this is, it's where this is going and why that's becoming the desktop people use is becoming less and less relevant for things. That's where the future's going. So yeah, there's no doubt that more and more things are web-based. Look how many things, I'm doing all this web-based. I'm using StreamYard to be able to share everything really quickly here. So now I'm literally moving video around, tied to a camera, to all pulling through a browser without any desktop applications. So Windows is hot garbage because they try to make every user happy about making the all-in-one product. Yeah. And anything that can be made into SaaS will go that route. Yes. Synology and there's people pushing against it. It's just harder. And even for us, technically there's a good hybrid model coming. You look at the way we use Wiki for documentation. It's a website. It's internally hosted that we manage, we host. That's actually something I think we're going to see more and more of, more and more internal. Well, Zen Orchestra. Look at all the things I can do with Zen Orchestra, and it's an internal application. You know what I mean? I'm not doing any of this externally when I do Zen Orchestra. So it's all derp. Stop, share, Chrome tab. When you look at how I use Zen Orchestra, I'm able to use all these functions. I'm able to look at VMs that are running. I can say which one's something I can look at here. You know, we can build all these virtual machines. I can change network adapters, design infrastructure, do all this. I don't load any application. All I need to do is open a browser, and I'm able to do all this. I can back up, restore, do anything I need to do. Just like, all right, just click on this and go there. Actually, if I wanted to spin up one of these 2019 servers, I just hit the button, start, and it'll spin up one of my lab servers that I need for some testing. And I'm doing all of this without having any type of application I loaded. It's just a website with the username and password. This is really where more and more things I think are going. So it's not just everything's going to SaaS. I think everything's going to web interface. They killed off, and some people aren't happy about this, but they're killing off the application that manages Zen because it's not as popular. And doing this all web-based is easier. And all of us can use it. Here's the problem. If all of us are managing, let's say we have a handful of my employees that are all using this tool to manage everything. If I had an update, I have to run on updating everybody's computer. That's annoying. I have to tell everyone to hold on, guys, load the new version of the Zen control software, or you update the web page once. I update the Zen Orchestra tool once, and everyone has it everywhere on all the different desktops they use. This is better and just more, it makes a lot more sense. Matter of fact, let me see. We have a couple servers. We have a few of them running in here. Let me open up the lab one. Oh, there we go. This is another lab one we have running. Same thing. If I wanted to fire any of these up, I can start this one. What disk is it on? Think we have enough storage? I'm only using, our lab got bigger. This is going to be some stuff. I updated my whole lab, so we have a lot of storage. There's only 244 terabytes free. I'm sure that's enough, right? to run all these. Oh, and Windows booted that fast because we're doing some more testing. This is a decent Ryzen host. So yeah, we just built a quick Ryzen system for this. It's nice how fast all this stuff is. But even through the console here, no tools, no special thing loaded. I can do this. I can play with Windows, update it. I'll just shut it back down. I don't really need it on. So it's one of those things. Everything's becoming more and more web-based. I've done videos on Screen Connect, the same thing. If you look at like Screen Connect, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And there we go. I can show this screen. But, this is like Screen Connect, same thing. I'm able to remotely manage systems in here, and I'm able to do this with this system here. It's, you know what I mean? All web-based. So all web-based, I'm able to manage and control everything. It's just kind of slick. And like you said, everything's getting very webification, as someone said a minute ago. It's where the world is going, and it just makes life a lot easier. Oh, let's see. Is Zen Orchestra a good server setup for multi-VM servers and hosting websites and servers? I think so, but I wouldn't resell hosting and resell access to Zen Orchestra. So I guess it depends on what type of hosting you're talking about. So overall, yes, I like it. Comes down to your use case. Yeah. The webification of everything just means one problem, iNetwork, and we're all doomed. Yeah. The thing with web is, how long will it take to get folks moved commonly to IPv6? Never. No one's moving to IPv6. The internet will find something. The world will find something that it needs beyond this, and it's not an issue. How's that? Yeah, Zen Orchestra is not a replacement, or not even in the same category as Plesk or cPanel. Those are very different tools. They're not the same at all. Myers Storage. Yes, Myers is around here. The world's going to keep making IPv4 work forever. That's until we don't need TCP/IP. I don't think IPv6 is coming, because we'll replace TCP/IP before we go to IPv6. Do you have any personal experience with the Roswell RSV server rack chassis? I don't know anything about quiet servers because we've not tried to. People ask about it. I don't know. Mostly if you build quiet servers, you just aren't going to buy commercial equipment. That's the biggest thing. You're going to go for, I don't know, like commodity build hardware. That way you can buy the fans that are quieter for you. And it's not usually the chassis as much as just that. Yeah, it's kind of not easy to find a quiet server. I'll just say that. Yeah, it's going to be IPv4 until we need chips in our brain. We'll go with that. That's a fair answer. Once we get to the chips in our brain, we're good. Yeah, you can go dual stack as long as things that you have work on it. It's, some things still have problems with IPv6. I don't bother diving much into IPv6. It's not really, there's not that market. And people tell me you're going to have to. I've been hearing that since, I don't know, history of IP. Wikipedia IPv6. How long did this start? Yeah, IPv6 was introduced in 1995, and we exhausted the IPv4 exhaustion was how many years ago? This is a long time ago. It's not happening though, not anytime soon. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't want to be right, but I don't think I'm wrong either. So when will you do a follow-up for the Home Lab Show 28 Own Your Domain? What follow-up do we need to do? I guess that's not it. What's the follow-up that we need to do on it? That's that part I may not understand. Now, cell service and lots of what do you call that? The meters on your house that do in the US at least, the meters that do all the monitoring for your power, like the power company meters, are all IPv6. There's a lot of things. The cell networks are back end IPv6, but then use interpreters to bring things back to IPv4. Yeah. No, the own domain video. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know when you will do a follow-up video, but I'm not sure what to follow up on for that video. All right, what are your thoughts on DAS versus iSCSI performance cost? I don't know. I don't think I've seen DAS. I mean, direct attach is nice, but I don't know. It really depends on what you're buying. I don't see as much. Mostly we do external SANs more than anything else. So I don't see as many people wanting to go that route. But I mean, direct attached storage works. You can pop a card in. It eliminates the networking in between. So that has a big advantage. It's just a matter of how you want to build out your server. And if you're building a multi-server system, well, then you kind of need a shared storage medium. You need a SAN if you're trying to build a cluster of servers where the storage has a common location. So then that doesn't work. Zen Orchestra versus OpenStack. You're not asking the right question. They're not the same. One's a hypervisor, one's an orchestration tool. So one manages a hypervisor, one manages orchestration. So they're not in the same category. So my thoughts are they're both cool products. They're both very different. They're yeah. XCPG supporting Windows 11. I don't know. My staff is testing that, not me. So I don't know. I'll find out. So that's where you're going. Yeah. A little tired today. But I don't know. We haven't really done much testing with it. There's so many bypasses in official from Microsoft registry keys that allow you to bypass the Windows 11 useless check on TPM. It's stupid that it bothers checking because you can turn it off. So technically, if you turn it off with the registry key, it works. So I don't even know why that matters. It's kind of dumb. Thanks, Microsoft. Steve Gibson had tweeted about that. It was, I think, in his last Security Now. I was just laughing about it. What do you think about self-hosting your own source code? Why not? Go for it. I don't see a reason why not. The bigger challenge is, how do you collaborate with people on it? I mean, I have lots of my own codes that I have. Not that it's great code. It's not shared with the public because it shouldn't be. But I have lots of private repositories of things that I manage. So I think if you want to host it, yeah, I mean, why shouldn't you? It's just harder to collaborate. So. Oh, HP MSA storage. I would go TrueNAS. Before I would go HP for sure. So yeah, I don't have much interest in the HP stuff. There's a reason we work with very large companies that we're always taking out something that they used to have by one of the commercial companies and putting in TrueNAS. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So I don't know. If you want to use it, go ahead. I'm a much bigger fan of the open source storage solutions such as TrueNAS for flexibility and performance. So is N45 Drives is really big fans of ZFS and Ceph. Those are solutions I think are better than the weird proprietary solutions offered by Dell or HP. So that's my opinion on it. So that's, I mean, if you want to use the proprietary solutions by them, I don't have much of an opinion on them. I don't really use them. My understanding from talking to people about them between the licensing and things like that, it's confusing. It usually requires some type of salesperson, might be able to pick it up cheap on the secondary market, but yeah. Your TrueNAS scale is flooding your network looking for IX TrueNAS and IX TrueNAS local about 1,000 per minute. I don't know what you set up wrong. I would recommend posting in the TrueNAS forums for that. I've not seen that problem before. Is there a good option for self-hosting things only once in a while? I don't know. I have lots of VMs I don't turn on very often. So sometimes I just build something and I'm like, I don't really need that now. And I shut it off. It's just sitting there. There's not really a good option. It just lives there, I guess. uh some things you like to self-host but use them free. The problem, if you have something that's ever going to be public facing, like you said, video calls, and like if you want to use some of those tools, they got to be up to date. So if you're going to open them up to the public to do something like video calling, you kind of got to keep them on to keep them up to date. That's just something to keep in mind. So all right, we're down to the last 3 minutes. What are the few extra things we want to talk about for the next 3 minutes? I am going to the IT in the D meetup. For those of you that aren't familiar, I'll pull that up. So we'll share screen. Ooh, 23 people in attendance. Cool. But IT in the D is my friends. They're casual networking for IT people. My friend Bob Waltenspiel organizes this, and Randy. So they're definitely some cool stuff. A lot of fun. I'm going to go network with nerds in person, in physical person. They have a few members in this group, about 3,000. This is a network with IT professionals. See where our next event is hosted. So we're going to be doing that. That's why I got to leave here in a couple of minutes. So if you happen to be in the Detroit area, bash the like button as well. Have you ever used Intermediate sharing service? Nope, never used it. Thoughts on moving NAS files to cloud sharing services in general? It's a security risk. Anytime you start sharing these things across the cloud like that, it's a security risk. So that's my thoughts on it. Hey, Brett's right. It's gonna be fun hanging out with nerds. So let's see. Any other questions we have? One more minute of questions. Then I gotta run to go to the IT and the D. I've never put the doorbell on outside, so I'm not sure how well it works in Sub-Zero. Milkshake or coffee? Water. I'm a water drinker. That's what's in here. Mostly I sip water all the time. That's my thing. I have tea. I didn't put it away yet. This is my tea from this morning. So it's got the kicking chicken on it. Come on. There we go. How do you trade off the security risks of cloud files versus NAS attacks? Patch everything and hope for the best. There's not a guarantee. And matter of fact, one of our projects is we have a client that is, because of security, they just don't want to risk it. They physically move boxes between sites while encrypted. They never transport any of their secretive data over the internet ever. They keep networks. The military does this too. I believe it's referred to as a SCIF. They create these isolated environments of data, and it gives them very tight levels of control over certain data. I'm not an expert on that particular aspect of it, but it's basically referred to as like air gapping things. That is an important aspect to think about. So no matter what, is much as right now, I know there's no risk with certain devices that are known. There's no CVEs for sharing something like on a Synology. I don't think there's any current CVEs provide you have a fully patched system, but that's right now. Doesn't mean someone won't find one tomorrow. There's always a risk. There's no way to ever fully mitigate the risk. It's that's the downside of tech. That's why so many tech people, the more you dive into cybersecurity, you're like, oh my God, all the code is hot garbage. There's just a matter of time before someone does it. If you look what I tweeted today, where's my Twitter? Go to profile. I mean, look at this clever stuff here. I'm going to share. This is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. So fail to ban does not do proper input sanitization on the mail action for the mail who is, causing the potential for commands in the who is to be executed. So if you would have said, could fail to ban be a way to take over my server? So if you configured fail to ban to do lookups, and then you also own and control the who is information, and you're able to put executable commands, turns out there's an input sanitization that someone found in fail to ban. So if before I seen this, I would have assumed they did proper input sanitization. So let me say that nothing, if it's online, is ever going to be 100% secure. You hope for the best. You do your best and say that I did everything I knew possible to secure this network. And then someone bangs on the a port with fail to ban and takes over the server because it was running fail to ban, and it didn't properly sanitize the input from the who is when it did the mailer and executed a series of commands. Think about that for a minute and then go, is your NAS file absolutely secure to be shared across the cloud? Is it? I mean, right now it is until someone finds out that they can do this. I mean, it's cool. So, yeah, it's something to think about. So, yes. Yep, there's always some little piece that didn't get validated somewhere that could be the edge that gets someone in. Do everything you can to feel that you did everything you can. That's how you sleep at night. You can't just there is no guarantees in tech. Turn it off. That's your guarantee. Don't put it online. That's your guarantee. Everything else is, yeah. So, oh, True Charts, you're a little late to the party because I have to run, but awesome. I will be doing some updated TrueNAS scale videos, of course, and I'll be mentioning True Charts each time because they've got more stuff on there. This is so true right here. So, yep. The input sanitization is a problem persistent in programming applications. And even when you think you've done it, there's someone finds a workaround that it didn't work right. So yes, ask Apple about that. So yeah. All right. I am out of here. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone to smashing the like button. Cool. Feel free to throw a spawn if something happens or be broken again. Hey, will do. Absolutely. Looking forward to testing out TrueNAS Scale. This is actually, I didn't say this, but one of the reasons we've been shuffling all the data and moving everything is because I want to dedicate another box that I can use to go back and forth between core and scale and get things started out. So, all right. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you next week, and I'll be doing some videos in between. Thanks.